We do not think the truth. The truth finds us when we become silence. Martin Heidegger. Information is not just knowledge. It is a threshold. In a world overflowing with endless streams of data, what makes one piece of knowledge come alive while another turns to dust? Some words you forget. Others shift the direction of your entire life. We live in the age of information. It's everywhere. On screens, in voices, in algorithms. Every day you hear hundreds of phrases, read thousands of words. But why do most fade, while others burn through you from within, leaving you forever changed? Not all information is knowledge, and not all knowledge is a living spark. Some answers arrive too soon and pass unnoticed. Some sound right, but stir nothing inside. But then there are others. A word, a line, a glance, a phrase, a meeting, and suddenly, something inside you turns. You don't just hear meaning, you feel a call. It's not logic, it's a vibration, as if someone spoke aloud what you had once known, but forgotten. This is not just information, this is initiation. These moments cannot be explained, but they can never be forgotten, because they don't just inform you, they transform you. Not all information reaches the heart. Some answers remain outside. They arrive, but never enter. Information without readiness is just a dead sound. For knowledge to come alive, an inner space must open within you. The mind is built to hear only what it's ready to hear. You can read a sacred text and understand nothing, or hear a stranger's whisper and suddenly grasp the essence of life. The mind filters. It lets in what's familiar. It rejects what doesn't fit its map, and anything beyond that map becomes invisible. You think you're not ready, but maybe readiness isn't knowledge. Maybe it's silence. You seek truth, yet still carry a shield of beliefs. But truth doesn't come to fight. It comes to space. When you look at the world through desire, fear, and dogma, you see only reflections, not the light itself. That's why many great truths pass us by. They don't shout. They don't break through the noise. They wait for the moment you fall silent inside and say, I know nothing, but I am open. Information is not just knowledge. It is a threshold. In a world overflowing with data, what makes one piece of knowledge come alive, while another turns to dust? Why do some words vanish from memory, while others redirect the entire course of your life? We live in the age of information. It's everywhere, on screens, in voices, in algorithms. Every day you hear hundreds of phrases, but only a few truly enter you. Most remain outside, because information without readiness is just empty sound. The mind only hears what it is ready to hear. You can read a sacred text and understand none of it, or overhear a passing whisper and suddenly remember something ancient within. You don't just learn, you remember. We are taught to believe that knowledge is something we seek, that truth is out there, waiting to be earned. But real information doesn't come on command. It finds you, not through will, but through ripeness. There are knowings that don't add anything. They strip away the veil. You don't learn, you open. It's not accumulation, it's initiation. Some knowledge feels like it activates a portal inside. You don't read with your eyes, you step in with your whole being. You don't comprehend, you tremble. You don't analyze, you awaken. Not every word holds weight, but some words carry frequency. They don't describe, they reveal. You read, and between the lines, a passage unfolds, and suddenly you're inside. not an idea, but a state. A word becomes a portal only if you're open. And when your inner portal is ripe, knowledge finds you, not as a conclusion, but as a flash, not as logic, but as a calling. Through text, through a meeting, through silence that somehow speaks louder than explanation. This is not just information. This is transition. True knowledge does not teach, it awakens. After this, you can't return to your old perception. This is the initiation through information, when you are no longer searching for meaning, but become the vessel for it. When knowledge doesn't come from the outside, but awakens within you. You read, and your skin tingles. You hear, and tears come, not from pain, but from recognition. You don't know why, but you feel with certainty. This is about me. This is my truth. I've always known this. And in that moment, everything changes. You stop being a seeker. You become a temple where knowledge remembers itself. In our video about Chokmah, the second Sephira of the Tree of Life, we spoke of this state, when knowledge has no form, but your whole being vibrates with yes. When you don't understand, yet you know. This is initiation, not given by others, but arising from within. And what's important, you cannot force it to happen. You can only be ready. Information doesn't choose the best. It chooses the prepared. I do not seek knowledge. I become the one in whom it can appear. Here are the signs of a moment of initiation. Your breath stops, as if space inside you expanded, and you don't want to disturb it. You don't hold your breath on purpose. It stops on its own, because something deeper in you is listening. You feel heat or cold, physically, sometimes along the spine, sometimes in the hands or chest. It's not suggestion. It's the body's response to the memory of light awakening. The body reacts to truth, even when the mind still doubts. A feeling arises. I've always known this. You're not reading. You're remembering. Not discovering, but affirming. A strange, groundless, but clear sensation. This was always in me. I just didn't know how to name it. Ordinary things take on symbolic meaning. Words become layered. Images begin to speak. You look at a tree and see a tree of life. You hear a melody and feel an answer hidden within it. The world stops being background. It becomes a conscious participant. After this, you can't go back to your old perception. Something has shifted inside. You can pretend to be the same, but you no longer believe it. You can't forget. You can't act like it didn't happen. Because true knowledge doesn't just change opinions, it changes you. Initiation is not information, it is transformation. It's not what you understand, it's what makes you become different. After that, all you used to know feels like a shadow, because knowledge received as initiation doesn't change thoughts. It changes the frequency of your perception, and that's no longer just understanding. It's the birth of a new layer within you. True words come alive when I'm ready to hear them. On your path, informational traps may appear, disguised as truth, but pulling you away from it. Why do some texts heal, while others only lull you to sleep? How can you tell living knowledge from the dead? Not everything that sounds elevated carries light. Not everything labeled as wisdom reveals essence. Sometimes words don't enlighten, they deepen the illusion. This is the shadow of knowledge, when the form remains, but the spirit is gone. Information is like food. It can nourish or it can poison. You read, listen, absorb. But instead of clarity, you feel exhaustion. Instead of a living resonance, you feel not enough. This is not knowledge. It's noise disguised as meaning. The shadow of knowledge doesn't say, "I am false." It says, "I am the truth." But its voice comes from the outside, not from within. How to recognize the shadow? True knowledge revives. Even if you don't understand everything, you feel something inside begin to clear. There's movement, presence, warmth. You don't become smarter. You become more yourself. False knowledge, on the contrary, creates dependence. It complicates, instills fear, demands recognition. It says, "You're not ready, you're unworthy. You must suffer to understand." It makes you a student, but never lets you grow. So when you feel the words sound grand, but inside it's empty, you become dependent on the next teacher or message. You keep reading, but you're not moving forward. That's a sign. You are feeding on dead information. Stop. Close the book, turn off the screen, and return inward. Because living knowledge doesn't speak from the outside, it rises from depth. Like fire, it doesn't need to be understood. You just need to be near to feel its warmth. So it is with a true message. It doesn't ask for worship. It simply brings you back to life. I choose not what sounds smart, but what awakens me to life. You cannot summon initiation through effort. You can't bring knowledge closer by searching harder, reading more, or asking more insistently. Because this is not a hunt for meaning. It's a tuning of perception. Initiation does not come where it is noisy. It comes in silence. In the moment when you stop being a seeker and become receptive. To be found by knowledge, you must release the excess. So now, find a comfortable position, close your eyes, reduce the noise, outer and inner. Let go of the news feeds, the background anxiety, the urge to constantly understand. Leave room for stillness, the kind of stillness where a single drop of meaning can fall and ripple. Don't search with the mind. Listen with your body, with your field. Be not the flashlight, but the bowl. Ask your question and let it go. Do not demand an answer right away. Take a breath and release control, because information does not come to control, it comes to trust. Let your body respond before your mind does. Don't think, feel. Don't judge. Pause. Knowledge often touches the body first, as a shiver, as goosebumps, as breath that pauses between the words. Recognize not through logic, but through a shift in perception. You won't hear aloud, "Here it is." You will simply notice that the world looks different, that you are looking, and something has changed, that everything stayed in place. But you see deeper, and that is the sign. Something has entered. A portal has opened, not outward, but within. I become the silence where truth can find a home. Remember this phrase. It will help you in the moment you need it most. Pause and reflect. You don't find truth. It finds you. You're not its author, you're its vessel. Transformative knowledge doesn't add. It removes, washes away what's not you, and brings you closer to who you are. Truth comes in silence, not in noise or speed. It arrives when there's space, like light on water, like breath in stillness. You can study endlessly and stay the same, or hear one phrase and be changed forever, because truth doesn't come from effort. It comes from readiness. You don't collect truth. It collects you from memory, body, feeling, fire, and makes you whole. It needs no proof, no explanation, because true knowledge lives in presence, in your state, your gaze, in who you've become. True knowledge doesn't explain. It brings you back to yourself. If this touched you, like, subscribe, and share.